Romans 12:2 simply says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So in order for your change to come, you have to change your way of thinking.
Welcome to Be the Ram webinar live number 4. This is Donnie McKissic Sr., Coach Mac. Some call me Reverend Run and Shoot. Right here I have somebody near and dear to my heart, Donnie McKissic Jr. Happens to be my big brother, so I'm glad to have him here on the show. If you don't know what Be the Ram is, being the ram is just that ram that was in the bush for Abraham. When Isaac and Abraham went on top of the mountain, that ram was there in the bush. So what we're doing here in this webinar series, we're just giving people an opportunity to be the ram and to help somebody else out, being in that bush, being that last chance of hope, being that savior. We just start off with a small prayer. God, thank you for giving us this opportunity. I thank you for what you're doing through this webinar. I thank you for bringing us together this evening. Just continue to bless us, bless this series, do what you do. In your name, amen.
Amen.
So Revelations 12:11 says, we are overcome and we're won by the words of our testimony. So that's where we're at tonight. I have my brother here, Donnie. He's going to give you a strong testimony. The title of this webinar is Donnie McKissic Jr. Against All Odds. He's not going to have any problem giving you a great testimony. I think it's definitely worth listening to, watching, sharing, subscribing to the channel. So Donnie, it's all on you.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank my brother for giving me this opportunity to even, be doing something with him, because, he looks at me as his big brother, but I look at him, I look up to him as somebody, who I like to strive to be with, not only, in the physical sense, because, he kind of buff or whatever, but, the spiritual, the guidance that he's able to give to other people, I like to be able to speak to people like that. He don't know that, but he probably know it now.
I always seen him as somebody who had a gift and had a calling, but he's one of those people that he don't want to be up in front of the church. He don't want to do all that. But I've always tried to tell him that, hey, you got something in you. So hopefully, maybe this webinar will be the thing that sparks him up.
Maybe, I ain't no telling, man. I'd be glad to speak to anybody, but like my brother was telling you, he asked me to come and give part of my testimony, and like as far as life being, like first thing I can do is start off with, life's gonna be hard anyway, regardless. I mean, it says in the Bible that you're promised, hard times. You're promised that already. So it say the if you follow his will and his way, he can make your days a lot less harsh than what they can be, rather than you just trying to be bullheaded and steam through life on your own, because it's all in God's hands either way. But like my brother, he took the enlightened way. I took a lot of the other dark roads, and it led me on a lot of dark roads. And on them dark roads, there were no caution lights. But as far as a couple things that I've been through, I've been incarcerated. That's no place I would suggest anyone be striving to get to, because honestly, myself, it seems as if our youth are not striving to do better. They're racing to the penitentiary, and like that's not a place you want to be. You don't want to be any place where someone can tell you what time to go to the bathroom, what time to get up, what time to go to sleep, what time you can eat, what time you can't eat. I mean, just the simple freedoms of going to the refrigerator and getting a cold just drink of water. Not even a soda, just a cold drink of water. Because when you get some water in there, you're going to get it out the tap. And all the water come out the same place. You got a sink, a toilet, and where you get your water, all connected to one another. That's not somewhere you want to be. Trust me, it's not. And being away from your family, the ones who really love you, for doing something, being with people in the street who's gonna be done forgot all about you in the next 5 minutes. The only thing they gonna do is put a free my friend or free such and such on Facebook, but Facebook's not gonna be in there with you. Now, it's a lot of people got phones in there, but Facebook can't do nothing for you in there. It can't help get you out.
So what would you say would have been the lowest point in your life?
Well, one of the lowest points in my life was I didn't have anywhere to stay. For like 2 or 3 months, I was just going from place to place, here, there, sleep where I can, here, go to a friend's house, here. But luckily for me, I did have one friend that gave me a place to stay until I was able to get my mind back right, because at the time, something had happened at my job where I was done wrong and I was fighting them in court. So I could have went and got another job, but all that case would have been thrown away. And I really felt like I was done wrong, so I fought for what I felt like was right. And in the end, I did end up, getting my settlement, more than what I expected. But what I went through during that time was, a lot of heartache, a lot of pain. I was wondering where I was going to get something to eat from the next day. It was really hard. It was. And that's not somewhere I ever want to be at again. And I strive every day not to ever go back to that, ever again.
And what do you think that you learned from being in that dark place where you said, basically you were homeless, going from place to place, wondering where the next meal is going to come from?
Well, one thing I learned for sure is your help only comes from God, and that's the only one who can help you when no one can help you. And I also know that he will put you in a place where you can't depend on anyone but him. Not mom, not dad, not auntie, not sister, not brother, not cousin, not friend. Put you in a place where you can't depend on no one but him.
Now we're blood brothers. We got another brother, Richard McKissic. He's my oldest brother. But, my brother also has another brother that he lost, on the street. We call Dogwood and Opelika.
Yeah.
And so tell us about, who that guy is, what he meant to you, and just that whole situation.
Well, I lost one of my closest friends to street violence. I don't want to say you get what comes to you, because I really don't know how to put it, but he lived that street lifestyle, and that street lifestyle is really what cost my brother his life. But I promise, if he knew how much we were missing him, he maybe would have turned. We maybe could have got him to turn his life around, because he was at a middle point where he had started going to church. Like he actually had a church home he was going to all the time. And he was just had one foot in and one foot out, and before he got a chance to make it right, his life was taken away from him. I really can't, I take that back. I don't know if he did get it right, because maybe he got it right, but before God called him home, I'm wishing that he did. I'm hoping and wishing that he did. But living a street lifestyle and all the popularity and the fame that comes from it, it's a lot of heartache that you leave behind. Also, like his mom, his dad, his brother, all us, his other close friends, we miss him dearly. And I wish that, I could just have one conversation with him and try to get him to leave the streets and just be encouraged and have enough strength to just take that other foot out the street and put it in the church as well.
Now you got a lot of young people. I work in high schools. You got a lot of young people who emulate that lifestyle. They come from great homes, you know, 2-parent homes, 2-car garage.
I hate to sound old school because, you know, I'm only 36. You know, like, I hate to just sound old, but I just, you know, you said be authentic.
Be authentic, transparent.
I'm going to tell you like this. I think it's the rap music. I'm being honest. Because the rap music, they listen to it, they actually believe it. But the rap artists that's rapping this music, leading you down an alley they've never been themselves. They're only taking this out of a playbook and they're reading it to you. And if they sound good enough, you believe it.
That's true.
But 90% of the time, they're never doing any of those things, ever.
So
they just rap it, make money off of it, tell it to you. You think it sounds good, really sound like trash to me. Most of the rap music, they ain't doing nothing but mumbling. But the kids today, they love it. But I guarantee you, you can't ask one of them what it says and tell them to write it down.
So what you're saying, in other words, is that the young people need to guard what's going in their ears.
Yes.
Because what's going in their ears is coming out in their lifestyle.
Yes. And they think that that's a lifestyle that they want to live because they have these rappers portraying that lifestyle. But they're portraying a lifestyle they either saw one of their friends living, they may have lived in the past, which time has passed, I promise you, since they live that lifestyle, because they're not going to tell on themselves. You know, like this may be something they did in their teenage years and they may be 25 now. You know, so they talking about it or whatever. You know, and they try to make it sound good, but like if you ever listen to any of that music for real, it doesn't sound good because they're basically telling you, okay, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to go do that. And then, but you never hear them say when they come get me what's going to happen.
Right. What happened when they kick my door in?
What happens when they kick my door into my bando, what they say now?
Right.
You know, I'm chilling in the bando. They don't even know that a bando is really an abandoned apartment. They just think it's a cool name. They don't even know what it is. A bando don't got no water, no nothing probably work but the stove, what they might need to work or something. But lights don't work. I mean, people they don't really stay in a bando. You know, they just call it that. They came with a cool name, and now all the kids be like, meet me at the bando, all this and that. But why would you speak manifestation into something that you don't really want to come to pass? You don't really want to be a trap star. You don't want to end up with 50, 60 years. You gonna cry when they give you that time. And them rappers, when they get into them, they gonna cry too. If they get caught doing any of the stuff they swear they be doing. But 90% of them are not doing that.
I got a lot of my students are just like, man, coach, school ain't for me, school ain't, school this, you know, what we gonna learn in the real world, blah, blah, blah.
I tell you this much, the same one saying that right now, check on them in 5 years. I'm talking about 5 years after they get out of high school. Life gonna pick them up, body slam them, break their back, put a crick in their neck, and if they lucky, they can get up and walk away from it.
Now the last topic, you know, before I know you got things to do, but before we get you out of here, last topic I want you to speak on is just, I know you're leaving your son's birthday party, which is just a testimony itself, being able to be in the lives of your children.
Exactly,
but
that's
just
true.
Give us a little bit of insight on the difficulties of being a father in your situation.
Well, I'm gonna be honest like this. My aunt, I'm not gonna say her name because I don't know if she'll get mad, but one of my aunts told me one time, she said, just because them girls give you that tail and they smelling themselves, you know how I want to, just cause they give you that tail and you smelling yourself and they smelling themselves and y'all think y'all doing some sneaking and all this and that, you know, like really honestly, you really shouldn't be having sex unless you got your own place in the first place, for one, and paying your own bills. And you need to also already have an education and a career, a couple years in that career. Go live a little bit before you decide to have children, or better yet, stay abstinence until you get married. That's the best way, because you know what, every partner that you encounter has the potential to be the father of one of your kids.
Or they can give you HIV. That's why I got this shirt. Says speak out, basically know your status. I took an HIV test. I was scared. I ain't even out there like that, but it's just a chance.
It's just a chance that something come back. Yeah.
Thing, you know what I'm saying? So
hey, I went and took one too, man.
Right.
Ain't that weird?
Right, man. I was like, you know, the lady said, I was like, how I get a shirt? So you gotta take a test. I'm like, man, I gotta work Monday. I don't know if I want that on my mind. Like, next week, you know, do I have to get? You know, you really don't want to know that stuff. But you know, just being a father, you know, just the difficulties of it in this generation.
In this generation, also, we use social media a lot for a lot of good things. Cause like mostly, you know, when I look on my brother's social media, he always has something positive, and that's what I like. When I look on his wife's social media, she always has something positive on there. You know, that's what I like. That's what I like to see. I like to see the positive thing. But a lot of another thing social media does, it kills relationships between the fathers and the mothers of kids, because you have other messy friends that want to be in there. Well, I seen him over here. He had a new pair of shoes, and you know, with just like I said, with going along with that, don't just sleep with them just because you can, because you can also have a child by them.
Yeah.
And you know, just having a child, bringing a child into the world is one of the most beautiful things on earth. Do not get me wrong. Kids are the most beautiful things on earth. You know, till they get back like us. Right. But they do. They cost a lot. They talk a lot. They talk a lot.
They do move a lot.
They do. And they use the bathroom a lot. They flush the toilet a lot.
They make noise.
They make a lot of noise.
They make a noise.
But that smile on their face makes it all worth it. It does.
It makes all the hard work and the long hours worth it when they look up you and they smile and they say, "Daddy."
It melts your heart. I promise you, it's nothing like that in the world. But another thing, you were asking me about some of the obstacles. Like, okay, I came up here. I was coming to see friends already. But my son, I had planned on seeing him the day before, but I didn't know his mother was coming up here. So what I had to do was, I made plans to work around it, because first of all, that's my son. You know, he didn't ask to be here. I helped bring him into this world. So therefore, I personally, you know, not only know because of the father that I had, but because of just the person that I've grown into, that I just feel a special pull towards, you know, wanting to be the best father I can be, just period. You know, so I made sure that I put that time in there. I told my friends, you know, we were going to cook out and, you know, hang out and just, you know, enjoy each other's company. I told them, I was like, I'm not going to be able to cook. You know, I told my other friend that, you know, I was actually supposed to be cooking. I told him, like, I ain't gonna be able to cook. You know, I can help buy the stuff, but, you know, I ain't gonna be able to cook because I gotta, you know, go see my son. But him being the friend that he, oh yeah, man, you know, go ahead. You know, and that's another thing. Make sure your friends are your real friends, because you can have a lot of people, you know, you can have, I'm gonna just put it in a scenario like this. You have a boat with 50 people on it. 25 of them people gonna cut parts of your boat off trying to make their own boat.
Wow.
You know, make sure your friends are your real friends. I had to learn that over the years, that, you know, everybody who says they're your friends are not always your friends. Some people that are just there for the beneficial reasons. When you can do, but when you can't do, you can't find them. You know, it's important that you find real, true friends. And your real, true friends are only going to guide you to the positive ways and never to the negative.
Now, as we close out, you know I sound like a Baptist preacher. We done closed 20 times. But as we close out, you know, what would you say to those girls and guys who say, you know, I ain't going to church, that ain't for me, and it might not be for you, but that may take a word from someone like you, or they have a word that they can give, but they don't necessarily want to put it on a platform.
Well, you told me to be authentic, so just being for real, I feel kind of uncomfortable because I ain't been going to church like I'm supposed to myself. So, you know, I can try to tell them, but, like, you know I need to do better myself.
But that's what I'm getting down. That's what I'm trying to break down, that boundary and that barrier of just because you don't go to church does not necessarily mean you're living right, and just because you do go to church don't mean you're living right. It's just something that you're doing on Sunday or maybe Wednesday. But a lot of people, they're you know, maybe what would you call it? They're intimidated by the church because a lot of folks in there are fake and they act like they're holier than thou, and they don't want to take a word from somebody who's saying, don't do this, don't do that, and I already know you doing it too. Yeah. So it really comes down to your own personal relationship with Christ. With Christ,
exactly, because without your own personal relationship with Christ, I mean, it doesn't, I mean, either way it go, the people in the church, they have their own hell to be condemned to. Yeah. Everybody has their own heaven and hell to be condemned to. When they get up there in front of them, you know, and if their name ain't in the book, they won't be going up there either. I don't care how many times they was at Pastor Appreciation Dinner, or how many times they done raised so much money for Pastor Appreciation, and oh, I was there for the church groundbreaking and this and that. None of that's not going to matter. What's going to matter in the end is the relationship that you have with God yourself, period. Like your pastor, he can't go there for you. Your pastor, he can't go to war for you in your own, you know, spiritual realm. You know, he can give you some scriptures and he can give you some guidance, but he can't do it for you. He can't fight the fight for you. Just like the people who are discouraging you or discriminating against you, they can't pray for you to get better. You have to go in there and pray for yourself.
I think that's kind of like that's the thing that I was hitting on there. You really got to do it yourself. The pastor's job is, as he said, is to guide you.
Is to guide you.
To feed you.
Exactly.
But just like a baby, you won't feed them until they're able to feed themselves.
That's it. Exactly.
At some point,
open up the Bible at home yourself. Okay, when you leave church, do you open up the Bible, or do you only open it up when you get in church?
And that's where we're at right now. We're at being the ram, of being in that bush for somebody else. Okay, so somebody may not be in church. Now I feel like we're both at a point that, you know, our family is grounded in church. You got pastors, you got preachers, you got singers, dancers, whatever you want, we got it. You pick one. We also got some folks on the other side of the track, you know what I'm saying, that'll beat you down, that'll do whatever. You don't want to mess with a McKissic, because it will be spiritual warfare, it'll be physical warfare. But that's a whole nother webinar. But where we're at is the point where now that you've been equipped, it's your job to go and start pulling others. And even if this video may be the only church that you ever have, I think you've got enough information to kickstart your life that maybe you can change it around. Maybe if you feel like that you're in a situation that Donnie was in, where, you know, I'm homeless, I'm going from here and there.
It's better days ahead, I promise you. The one thing I figured out is if you give up, you'll just be there. And won't nobody even try to help you. Like, you'll be looking for a blessing from God. How can he give you a blessing when you ain't even doing no work to make the manifestation come true? Like, how can you say you want a garden, but you haven't dug the first hole?
Faith without works is dead.
Dead. Faith of a what? Mustard seed.
Mustard seed is all you need.
Mustard seed. That's all you need.
Just have a little bit of faith. If you're in a bad situation, if you feel like, man, you know, this ain't for me, I'm ready to put the gun to my head, or, you know, God don't love me. Trust me, he do.
He do.
And the people that you see that look like they got it going on, we all got our own struggles. They on different levels. Just because somebody got more money than you, their girlfriend look better.
You might not want that struggle they going
through
really
with
inside. You know, like you don't know, you know, oh, they got money, this and that, but they have so many other problems that come along with having that money.
We always look at somebody else and say, man, if I can only have what they got, you don't know what
they're going through. Exactly.
They looking at you like, man, if I could just have what you got, I could just live life that simple.
Just simple. Like, and you just don't know. He might just want to go to the store. He can't just go to the store because he got so much money, people after him. You see what I'm saying? He might just want to go to the store by himself. So you can go to the store by yourself all the time. But yet you thinking you want to be like them, but yet they got to run and hide. They can't, everywhere they go, people flashing pictures. They, you know, like, everybody got their own struggles, and just like it says, to whom much is given, much is
asked for. I actually got that tattooed on my arm because it's just something I want to remember.
I couldn't remember exactly how it went, but I remember the first part.
A good man leaves an inheritance to his kids' kids. So you really gotta watch out for saying you want what somebody else got. You really just gotta.
And not only that, you gotta watch how you speak. Cause you know, you could speak that into existence and you could get what they have, and then you all messed up.
And what I always say, you know, to my friends, I got a lot of social media friends, I call them. You got friends, you got social media friends. I've always said, because right now we're in a bashing Christianity type culture, bashing pastors. Creflo Dollar stays around, oh, his house is too big, this and that. But I say, okay, right now, I got friends, he got friends. What if this blows up and becomes $1 billion industry just off these webinars? At what point am I supposed to give the money that I'm working hard for, that I'm out here grinding in a Quick Trip parking lot, to you or someone else who won't even speak to me now? So why is it that now that we've been in the mud, we've done our thing, that you're entitled to my stuff because I'm saved? When you, like you said, you ain't put no works to your faith. But now that we've put works to our faith, I'm supposed to pay your bills as a pastor. I'm supposed to counsel you and let my kids drop out and my wife be sad.
Just because your cup overflowed.
Right.
You know, that cup had to get started at the halfway point. And when it got to the halfway point and you liked it, you know, you kept trying to get it fuller and fuller. And you wanted yours to overflow, but you put in the works for that.
And if it overflows, I don't see nothing wrong with, think about a cup. If you visualize, if it overflows and you got maybe money, blessings, whatever, and it falls down, it's gonna fall on who?
Who's ever
around you.
Exactly.
Now, if you're not around, I don't want you sticking your hand. It don't come when the cup overflows. If you're there already, it's gonna hit you.
Already.
And that's what he said. You got to make sure that you got the right friends.
Make sure you got the right friends around. What? So when you do, you know, when you do get that blessing, it's not splurged on the wrong people.
And what
you know
happens
what I'm saying?
If you're halfway empty, halfway full, and you're around
somebody, a blessing.
Right, and your friend's cup overflow, but it's overflowing with manure and toxic materials, it's flowing into your cup.
Exactly.
So then you're going to have to go through a whole process of seaming out those bad things that came from those friends and then put new stuff in. And the only way to get something new is to flood out those bad things, those negative things. So we're going to go, because I mean, we probably go all night. But I hope you learned something. Appreciate you for coming on here. I hope this sparks something in you, because you got a word. You may think you're not a pastor, but believe it or not, a pastor is someone who leads a flock. And I promise you,
I don't want that responsibility. I don't, hey, Lord, don't bless me with it. Don't bless me with it, Lord. Don't bless me with it, Lord.
It's not really about what you want, it's what you got. When you turn around and there's people following you, say, man, then you realize, hey, I am a pastor. I may not be ordained, but I'm called, I'm sent, and I'm equipped. So, you know, subscribe to the channel if you like it. If you like any little thing about it, share it. If you think somebody else might like it, share it. You know, shouts out to my folks in Opelika. Shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to all the folks that just doing what they got to do to be the ram of this community. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I just want to say thank y'all for watching. And I love my brother, and if y'all ever got a chance to know him, you would love him also.
I hope so. You either love me or hate me, but it really don't matter, because God loves me.
That's right. Amen.
I'm out.
All I wanna do is worship, because you've been so good to me. All I wanna do is worship, because you've given me